Good morning or good afternoon, eighth grade. We are ready to jump into a brand new module today, starting with Unit 1, Lesson 1. So we are going to now be looking at a new novel, nonfiction, called The Omnivore's Dilemma. Before we get started and jump in, today we're just going to touch the surface. So we're going to explore resources and infer the new topic based on some guiding questions and things like that. And you're also going to be introduced to the performance task, which we know happens at the end, and the module guiding questions. So you guys know the drill. We're first going to have an entrance ticket. That's going to be found on page 2 in your new student workbooks. So go ahead now and go to page 2, Unit 1, Lesson 1. And I want you to read through the directions, fill this in. After you finish, I would love for your teacher to take a few moments to allow you guys to talk about it as a class, and then we will move forward from here. All right, guys. So hopefully you've had some time to talk about it as a class. Let's look at our learning targets for today. I can infer the topic of this module from the resources. I can select a research reading text that I want to read. I don't know that we're going to do that part. We are going to mainly focus on that first learning target. So let's go ahead and jump into work time A, which is inferring the topic. I'm going to fix the formatting of this for a second. All right. So you guys are going to have in your student workbooks an Infer the Topic note catcher. I notice, I wonder. You're going to choose a starting resource, which your teachers will have. And then you're going to take your I notice, I wonder note catcher with you. You might be doing this gallery walk style. You'll look carefully at the resource. You'll be respectful of others who might be looking at the same thing. So don't blurt anything out. We want to capture it all on your note catcher. Record what you notice, record what you wonder. Should take you about 3 minutes per resource, okay? So when instructed, I want you guys to find a partner who looked at a different resource. You'll describe your resource and share your noticings and wonderings, explain what you think, and what you're going to be learning about in this module. You'll also, when instructed, stay with your partner, and together you'll find another pair. You'll share your noticings and your wonderings and what you think you're going to be learning about in that module. And then you'll find a new resource and you'll repeat these same steps through each of the resources. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and ask that you pause the video here and you guys go ahead and begin this gallery walk. You'll come back to me when you've completed this. This might take you guys 30 minutes or so, or maybe more. So that's up to you and that's up to your teacher. But you'll come back to me once you're finished. So go ahead and pause the video now and begin working on looking at all these resources. All right, guys. So you looked at a lot of resources today, and you were asked to make inferences based on what you'll learn in this module based on those resources. So I'm going to leave these questions up here, and I'm going to ask that your teacher guide you guys through some classroom discussion. So now that you've looked at the resources, what do you think this module might be about? What does this topic mean to you at this point? Why might it be meaningful to study this topic? And then lastly, from what you know so far, what are you looking forward to about this topic? So I'm going to ask that your teacher go ahead and pause the video here and you guys have some discussion about these questions in class. All right, guys. So now that you've done that, you guys, if your teacher has copies in the room, I'm going to ask that he or she give out the Omnivore's Dilemma and that you capture these 2 definitions in your vocab logs in your notebooks. So omnivore is an animal or person that eats plants and animals, and dilemma, a difficult situation or problem. So go ahead and pause the video here and capture both of these vocab words. All right, guys. So now that we've done that, you've looked at some pictures and resources today. In this module, we are going to be tracing the sources of our food from the farm to our plate, which I know can sometimes be a little difficult. It's like, do I really want to learn this? But it's important that we learn this. We're also going to explore what's in our food, our access to healthy food, how food production affects the earth, and the choices we can make about the food that we eat. Okay. All right, so before we are done for today, we are going to look at the performance task and the module guiding questions. So those overarching questions that we hope by the end of the module we are able to answer. So your performance task for this particular module is that you will create an infographic, which is a visual image such as a chart or diagram used to represent information or data. So I'd like for you to pause the video and capture that vocabulary word along with your other vocabulary words. So if you see the performance task anchor chart, your infographic will include a clear recommendation for healthy and sustainable food choices, 2 reasons why your audience should consider your recommendation, 2 quotes or paraphrases from research texts that support each reason, a counterclaim that addresses the opposition to your claim, and illustrations, images, or graphics that help convey or show your idea. So I'd like for you guys to have some classroom discussion about these questions here. So I'm going to ask that your teacher pause the video. What do you notice about the task? What do you wonder? And now that you've analyzed the performance task, has your inference of what this module might be about changed and how? So go ahead and pause the video here and have some classroom discussion about these 2 questions. All right, guys, now that you've done that, I'm going to go ahead and close us out for today. Before we do that, I'm going to ask that you look at the module guiding questions anchor chart. This is going to be your closing for today. So this should be in, it should be in your workbook, but if it's not, this is something that your teacher could do with you on a big sticky note or on the board. So the questions are on the left-hand side. So I'm going to read them out loud, and then I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to let you guys put your notes on the right-hand side. So our module guiding questions are, where does our food come from? That's a huge question, right? Number 2, how do we analyze arguments about how food should be grown and processed? What factors influence our access to healthy food, and how do we research this? What factors should we prioritize when making choices about our food? How do we share these recommendations with others? So you guys are going to fill in notes about each of those questions on the right-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys so much for participating today, and I'll see you all again soon.